Hi there. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about 3 or 4 interesting tech topics in about 20 minutes or so. How good are your eyes? I bet you they're not seeing all that they could see, and we'll tell you about that in a second here. But if you've got a story you want us to talk about, Creation Station at broward.org comes right to me. Today, I have one of my favorite guests on, Miss Danielle from Maine Library. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Life is great. If you don't remember Danielle's last episode with us, where we broke some records for a number of live viewers, it was pretty funny. Um, did we ever solve that belly button lint article? Did we ever?
Yeah, we did. We even added the fact that some people create art with them
It's
with the
craziness.
lint.
It was a crazy. We're not going to get that crazy today, I don't think. But we'll find out what we can talk about here. But first, I apologize, Danielle. Please tell them what you do there at Maine Library.
I'm the community library manager senior for the main library, overseeing operations for youth services, adult services, circulation, and computer services.
All the key working parts of that the public sees every day. All those people she's in charge of. Yay. Yeah, I know. Let's talk about our first story with our eyes, because my eyes with glasses I'm at 20/20 vision. How are you? How's your vision there, Miss Danielle?
Oh, I prided myself not having to wear glasses for the longest time. So now, in the past 2 years, now I have to wear glasses.
That's okay. It's a thing. Oh, my wife, the doctor with my wife, she was like, "Oh, he looks at computer screens too much," and he was like, "No, he's old." And I'm like, "Thank you so much." But that's all a long way of getting to Canon came out yesterday or a couple days ago, and with a new announcement that they are working on a camera that can record at a high enough resolution for VR. Because especially with the new Apple Vision Pro making the big splash this spring, it turns out that we do not have cameras that can film at a high enough rate to actually take up all of that processing power that the screens can do. And I always knew that, wait, some of the cameras weren't recording everything that your eyesight can see. I didn't think it was so bad. It is. Have you experienced that, Danielle? Looking at a screen and just thinking it's like a little fuzzy or whatever, even though you know it's super clear?
Yeah, I have. I remember one time I went to a restaurant and they had a plasma TV or something, and you could see the pores on the person's face, and that kind of freaked me out. And I said, you know what? I'm okay with just regular TV.
Yeah.
I don't need to see all that.
So it is something that you need to record. I'm looking for the exact stats. It's the same thing. There it is. So you need a 100 megapixel image to work at the highest rate and the best rate that you can inside of the new Vision Pro headset, which is the equivalent of a 14K camera. Now, we have some 4K cameras in Creation Station,
Okay.
but we do not have 14. And the only one that currently can take up the full 100 megapixel thing is that big sphere in Las Vegas. You've seen that
Okay.
big dome that they
Oh
have?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The camera that they use to film the stuff that goes on there, it's an 18K camera, but it takes 12 people just to make the camera work, to be able to maneuver it and focus it and all the stuff, because it's just so huge.
So you're saying it's in our budget?
I will put that in there. I'll see. I'll see if the county will approve that one for me. It is 60 frames per second. So if somebody out there who's used to taking photos or anything like that, or if you're looking at your 10, 14 megapixel phone on your camera, yeah, 14K, another 1,000 better than that 14 megapixel.
Mm.
It's just craziness.
Mm.
The next story is one I had two one got sent in to me by the week because people all know, oh, we're going to talk about space if it happens here on this show. There's two interesting stories about this. One is this week, SpaceX launched, and this past weekend put more people up onto the space station. I hope everybody saw that. It is a great thing. The other news that someone's wanted me to make sure that I knew it was happening because it's a competitor to SpaceX, and I guess we talk about them too much, is Blue Origin is actually got the go-ahead from NASA now to start their human spacecraft module. They've got rockets that work, and you have to be able to prove to NASA that you have the engineering side down before they will allow you to submit more designs on the actual capsule that goes on top of the rocket to launch humans into space.
Okay.
It's kind of important to be safe.
Yes.
This is one of those things.
We've had recent examples as to why that's important.
Yeah. So Blue Origin would be the third U.S. way of getting up into space. We've got the Artemis rockets, which haven't launched any people, but the capsule has gone up and down, and they're going to launch people later on this year to go up and down, and that's it. Though that may be delayed further. It already got delayed to the end of 24, and it's probably going to be spring of 25 because I'm not going to hold NASA. I'm not going to believe NASA's going to pull it off. SpaceX has been doing this on a regular basis. They are the primary people launching people to the International Space Station. And then you also have China, which everybody forgets. China's got their own space station, and they're launching their own satellites up there, and they've got astronauts, taikonauts, I believe is the correct term for what they use, that go up to their own space station on their missions. And then we have the Russian one that used to work. They could still work, but they don't use it anymore because SpaceX put them out of business effectively, amongst other problems from Russia.
And I did see that, I forgot which company it was that have already sent one of the rockets 5 times, and now they're trying to see if it can expand to 15 times. But the very first one has a crack around the door seal, and they determined that it was okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you thought you had problems when an
make it
airplane had
back
something on
in.
a door. Yeah.
into
Launching them
Earth
up into
space.
orbit is reusing them. I mean, and also for anyone who doesn't know this, we've never reused crew capsules.
Right.
The closest was the entire space shuttle, but none of the capsules themselves since the space shuttle or before then were reusable at all. We would launch those Apollo ones up, and they came back down, and that was it. The one that just came back on Artemis last year, that's the only time it's ever flying. The ones from SpaceX, those are the only times those capsules have flown so far. We're getting there where they can actually start reusing the crew capsules. The engines have been reused a lot. So yeah, it's one of those interesting new things that's going to be happening. And they get into a little bit on this article. As always, show notes are there for you with all the article links to go back and read these things. The article gets a little bit into why Blue Origin pulled this off, and it's called Orbital Reef, which is a rival space station to the International Space Station from a U.S. company that may or may not make it up there, and that's a topic for another show. Then the robots are taking over.
Oh, the robots.
So, stop. We have, I'm going to just show the very top of this. You can log into your library account and go to Bloomberg, and you can see the articles, the full article on Bloomberg. Really briefly, it's that Agility Robotics, which is a division of Amazon, subsidiary, I guess is the proper word. They just put a lot of money into them. They have some new humanoid robots that are doing the actual job for people in Amazon warehouses. Amazon's used robots for a long time. but this is the first time that they've actively replaced workers doing something that human workers used to do. And what they are, they're regular standard, look like a humanoid, look like anything out of a science fiction movie, but they pick up a bin, twist, and drop the bin somewhere else. Barely moving, actually. They carry it from place to place, but they're really rolling. And that twisting is exactly what Amazon gets in trouble for a lot with their
Right.
employees
Right.
and OSHA and all the other things like that, because it is a repetitive stress injury waiting to happen as you try and pick up even these light boxes that are empty, just picking them up, twist and drop, pick them up, twist, drop. Human torsos are not quite meant for that.
Right. And once people are injured, it slows down productivity, and so
Yeah.
if a machine can do it with no repercussions, of course they're going to take that route.
Yeah. And that's one of those things. If the robot is 80% accurate but never has a healthcare problem, it's going to do the job better than a human can.
Right.
Probably one of those things that we wanted robots to take over, unlike some of the other things they seem to be taking over.
Because unlike the Tin Man, they kind of have a brain.
Yeah. Has a little bit of a brain, not as much heart.
No, it's the heart. That's right. It's the heart.
Well, no, but I think you're right on that right target there. I think a lot of people would accuse Amazon of not having a heart. But speaking of Amazon, I hope we do not trigger any. I will try very hard not to use those wake words for any part of this next article. How do you use smart tech to help aging parents, for people to age in place? This is a much longer article than we normally share. This goes into depth on different things, different types of home care, different types of things to use. What out of this would you use, Danielle?
Well, for my mom, when she was having trouble with eyesight, what I did, and she was adverse to technology. Let me tell you, she called it the nosy box. But then she would tell me, go on the nosy box and look up blah 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 blah. I said okay, but I would set her up because she always wanted to read the Bible. So I said, and she perfected that, and that was the only thing she was willing to do, was to read the Bible off of that. As far as the tablet.
No, that's okay. That's a step forward. That's a step.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that is really important to think about with these is, I think, and it's one of the things the article really messed up on, is there's all these really good digital assistants that you can use, whether that is one from Apple, whether that is one from Amazon, whether that is a Google flavored one, Samsung, whatever, whoever you want to use. But you don't start off with a 90-year-old who's never used anything and just try and plop them into this science fiction world of talk and everything around you will just work magically fine, because it doesn't. I mean, I'm a big advocate of using these things around us. They make life so much easier, able to control things a lot better, things security-wise, etc. My mother-in-law, who lived with us in her final years, had Alzheimer's, and we were able to luckily have a nurse come into the house every once in a while to take care of things when we weren't away at work. I had cameras in the house. I could watch to make sure that she was being treated properly, that the person wasn't just sitting there watching TV downstairs while she's upstairs doing something wrong. Or doorbells. Now, you said in the pre-show you have a doorbell that you do use a smart doorbell?
Yes. And instead of getting the doorbell that you have to wire or it works with battery, I actually am using the peephole doorbell. It was so easy to install, and it works just as well.
Nice. And now, does it actually record anything?
Oh, yes, it does.
See, I took the opposite tact with mine. I went out and bought an old original Ring doorbell, and attached it to the front of my house and never plugged it in, connected it, or anything.
Oh, okay.
So it's there. Everybody knows all my family and friends know I have a super connected house. But there's a different camera that watches the front door. But the Ring doorbell that anybody who's going to walk up, it's in a very open, obvious spot. So people will see it as they're walking to the door. Just like your people one, I bet. You can see on your door to see exactly what it is. And that's kind of the point to some of the smart house stuff is you want it to be there to help them with whatever task they need. My mother loves her Echo and listening to her shows, listening to music, it's basically her radio that she, does and talks to and all this stuff like that.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of other things also, besides just a smart speaker, besides just a thing that you are thinking what you want, or the cameras, because I tend to fixate on the camera side of it sometimes because of the security issues.
Right.
Like I want to make sure I can see, but nobody else can see,
Right.
which is a really tricky thing sometimes nowadays because some of these companies have gone out. And I've disconnected all of my indoor cameras now because of that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I only have the ones for the outside now. I've disconnected all the inside ones only because I don't know with all the data breaches and security and things like that happened.
Yeah, American Express just had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that, that's one thing you can do to prepare is think about what do you need, where do you need them. They talk about on the cameras how some of them are really useful that are just built into the device, which is primarily the Amazon, the Echo devices right now. Although there's a rumor Apple's going to release a brand new one again in the fall. So if you're in the Apple world, you might be getting a new HomePod with new camera capabilities.
Yay.
Not sure. I don't know. Yeah. But I did want to point out the one really cool thing here before I drop off this article. We've only gone through like a third of the article so far. There's a lot more here. Talks about the robots to help people with mental health care. Talks about, you can see right here, the trackers, about putting a tag on people or on things in the house to make sure that they don't leave and stuff like that. The pill dispenser is invaluable. And I really, really want to convince my wife who she really needs it. She doesn't know she needs it, but she needs it because I will constantly pick up her pill dispenser where she drops it on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, it says you didn't take your pills on Wednesday. Oh no, I'm 2 days off. Wait, what? So you can get a Bluetooth pill dispenser that will alert you when people take their pills, either at the right time or the wrong time. I am so tempted by this. She might kill me, but I am so tempted by this.
But does she put reminders on her
No.
phone? No, she doesn't. Okay.
No, that's her problem.
Because sometimes if you put reminders and then you get so used to reminders, you just ignore the reminders.
Yeah. That's just she gets caught up in something and she'll do, and I'm like, then move the pills to the right day at least. I don't know. We'll see. We have one really cool thing happening in most of the country that's not going to happen in South Florida. You got a guess for me, Danielle? In April, what's a really cool thing that's going to be happening?
Oh, the eclipse.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have free solar eclipse classes for you at Broward County Library. If you're listening to this outside of Broward, outside of South Florida, your local library has them. Maybe, if they haven't run out already. Because it's a big thing, trust me. We gave these out last November. We kept some back in November because we knew people would lose them before April. So we have some more now to give out in April. For if you're in South Florida, you use your Broward County Library card, walk into any branch, and you can check out. You get to keep them. 2 sets of eclipse classes to go watch the eclipse in April. Just about a month away.
Exciting.
Were you here last year for?
Yes, I was.
You were? Okay, good. trying to remember how.
It was very popular. Those glasses went.
Oh, yeah. It was craziness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, Miss Danielle. We just flew right on past all of our time.
I know.
It is.
It was my pleasure.
We have to go find a new controversial topic for you now. We didn't even get a chance to talk about microphones.
That's okay.
It'll be in the show notes. If there is a librarian or library that you would like to see featured on the show one day, creationstation@broward.org comes right to me. We'll be trying to get them on. Have a great week, everybody.